I want to give all the praise and all the glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rikah Kudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also want to acknowledge the Akyam who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And Shalom to the elect. So I'm going to go ahead and through the Spirit, I'm going to go in on 1 Kings 11 and 29. I'm going to go into the split, all right, when the nation of Israel split into northern and southern kingdom. So basically it comes right after, if you read the book of Kings, it comes right after, because Solomon, he basically went off by doing, he was giving up. Well, let me read it. So 1 Kings 11 and 4. Let's read this real quick. It says at the top of the screen, "For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his mind or his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with Yahweh his power, as was the heart of as was the mind of David his father." All right, so Solomon was he was basically building temples, building high places for other gods because of the women that he was dealing with, right? So in his old age, he was doing this wickedness in the sight of Yahweh, all right? So his punishment immediately was not only he died very soon thereafter, but it was also that the kingdom would be split into two kingdoms, that the nation of Israel would be split into two kingdoms, the northern and southern kingdom, all right? So now I'm going to go to verse 29. It says, "And Jeroboam, the son of 29. So Jeroboam was the son of Nebat. He was not Solomon's son, but he was basically rebellious to Israel." And I'm going to read verse 29. "And it came to pass that at the time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field." All right, so this prophet Ahijah, he was, he was alone with Jeroboam, who was basically getting ready to be ordained the king of the northern kingdom. He was the leader of the northern kingdom, and you had the two kingdoms. Rehoboam was the king of Judah, which was southern kingdom. Jeroboam was king of northern kingdom, but this was the prophet prophesying, telling him that the split was going to happen and that he was going to be set up as the king of the northern kingdom. Talks about his garment. Let's read verse 30. "And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces." So he basically took his garment off him and cut it into 12 pieces. Verse 31, "And said to Jeroboam, Take thee 10 pieces, for thus saith Yahweh, the power of Israel, Behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel." And it's because of the wickedness, that Solomon had been setting up those other temples where, to honoring other gods for those strange women that he was dealing with, right? He had concubines of the other nations, women of the other nations. Caused him to go off, man, in his old age, you see. He was worried about that box more than being worried about Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. So, let's jump down to Well, let me read verse 39 because just this verse sticks out to me. It says, "And I will afflict the seed of David, but not forever." Okay? So Solomon ended up dying. Then I'm going to jump down to 1 Kings 12 and 1. And this is going into Rehoboam, who was Solomon's son, who was going to be his successor, the new king of Judah. Because remember, Jeroboam, he was ordained to receive 10 tribes, which would be later called the Northern Kingdom, the so-called Latin, Hispanic, Native American tribes today. Okay, so let's read the account of Rehoboam, which was the king of Judah, which was Solomon's successor. And this is basically where the split happened, right? Is this 1 Kings chapter 12 explains it. I'm going to read it. "And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel were come to Shechem to make him king. And it came to pass, when Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of King Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt." So Jeroboam, he was actually, he went to Egypt because Solomon was going to kill him, because Solomon knew the prophecy about him becoming the leader or the king of the 10 tribes, and the kingdom being split. Remember, this all goes back because Solomon's sin, him going into setting up altars and temples and for those heathen women and their gods, right? Remember, we read that they turned his mind to the other gods for a time. So this was punishment. All right, that's why the kingdoms were split. Verse 3, "That they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the congregation of Israel came and spake to Rehoboam, saying," all right, so now it's still all one nation, but it's about to split, because basically the people are gonna get mad at Rehoboam, Solomon's son, which would be Southern Kingdom eventually, and they're gonna decide to follow Jeroboam, okay, which would become the Northern Kingdom, the king of the Northern Kingdom. And it says in verse 4, "Thy father made our yoke grievous. Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke, which he put upon us, lighter, and we will serve thee." So see, they're asking Rehoboam, hey, could make our work lighter, and we'll be willing to serve you if you can do that, all right? So this is all set up by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. At the end of the day, as I'm reading this chapter, keep in mind that it's all ordained by Yahweh, all right? So there had to be a reason for Northern and Southern Kingdom to split. And part of the reason was, not only was it prophecy, but also because they were asking for their yoke to be made lighter, instead of heavier, right? So we'll read it. We'll keep reading. Verse 5. "And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me. And the people departed." So he had to think about it. He had to discuss counsel with, well, let's read it. Verse 6. "And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father, while he yet lived, and said, How do ye advise that I may answer these people?" And verse 7, "And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and wilt serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever." See, so the old men, they gave him the correct advice, but the problem is he was not listening to the counsel of his father, his father's counselors. He went and listened. He went and consulted with the younger generation, if you will, right? And let's see what they told him. Verse 8, "But he forsook the counsel of the old men, which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him. See, so he said, to hell with the elder, wiser generation. I'm going to listen to the young generation, right? The ones he grew up with, not the ones his father, King Solomon, grew up with, because they had wisdom. They could have and they could have saved the kingdom from splitting if he would have took their counsel. But that wasn't the Lord's will. The Lord's will was for the kingdom to split. So the Lord put the spirit on Rehoboam to listen to the younger men, right? Let's read verse 9. And he said unto them, what counsel give ye that we may answer this people who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put on us lighter? And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. So they're giving him the advice to, hey, make it harder for these people. Make it harder for the tribes. Make their yoke more grievous, right? Verse 11, and now whereas my father did lade you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father hath chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. See, so he basically did the exact opposite because of the counsel of the younger men. He didn't listen to the old men, who were saying, hey, he basically went the entire opposite way. But again, you have to remember, it's the will of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai that he listened to the young men instead of the old men, because the split was prophecy. It had to happen because of the prophecy. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day, as the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the third day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him. See, so he forgot about the old men's advice, and he spoke roughly with the people. And it was all set up because this is what was going to stir up the tribes to the point to where they were going to be like, well, fuck this. We're going to split. Right? What is this? Verse 14. And spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, my father hath made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people. So he didn't listen to the people. For the cause was from Yahweh. See, just like I said, it was from Yahweh that you put the spirit on him, not only to listen to the younger men, but to speak roughly and basically tell the people exactly what they didn't want to hear. All right? For the cause was from Yahweh, that he might perform his saying, which Yahweh spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. See, so it had to come to prophecy. It had to come to pass. All right, verse 16. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we an inheritance in the son of Jesse to our tents. O Israel, now see to thine own house. David. So Israel departed unto their tents. So at this point, in their mind, they're like, man, there's about to be a split. They weren't agreeing. They weren't agreeing with what was going on. They didn't like the response that King Solomon's son Rehoboam gave them. But as for the children of Israel which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. So he did, remember, the prophecy was he would keep the one tribe, which we always tell you collectively, Judah is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, southern kingdom, right? So, verse 18. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with stones, and he died. Therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. All right, so he sent a man who was basically governing over the tribute, which would another word for tribute would be in some ways taxes, which that's actually, we're not supposed to tax our own people, so that was also a violation of the law. So, and Israel stoned him with stones that he died before King Rehoboam made the speed to get him up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So they actually, the dude's Adoram, he was like a messenger, right? Overseeing the tribute, which, like I say, would have been taxes, and Israel killed him. They stoned him, and partially, really, it goes back because that's against the law to tax your brethren. So let's see, verse 19. You could see all the wickedness that was happening in Israel that caused the split, right? You ain't supposed to tax your brethren according to the law, and that's what they were doing. They end up killing him. Verse 20. Well, read, no, I'm sorry, 19. So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. And that's the split right there. See? Verse 20. And it came to pass, when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation, and made him king over all Israel. There was none that followed the house of David, but the tribe of Judah only. And when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, 184,000 chosen men, which were warriors, to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom again to Rehoboam the son of Solomon. All right, and remember, the Levites were the priests, but when we're talking about southern kingdom, it's dealing with Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right, you got to remember, Levi wouldn't have went up to battle because they were the priests. All right, during this account in Kings. But you have to understand that Judah, the house of Judah, that's why it says with the tribe of Benjamin, and it doesn't mention Levi because they were the priests. So the priests wouldn't go to war, okay? Verse 22. But the word of the Most High came unto Shemaiah, the man of the Most High, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin and the remnant of the people, saying, because you got to remember, they were getting ready to go up and war with their brethren, fight with their brethren. You see, the southern kingdom was getting ready to go and have a battle with the northern kingdom. But then there was a man of Yahweh, which his name was Shemaiah, and he spoke unto Rehoboam, in verse 23. He said, Speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, Thus saith Yahweh, Ye shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the sons of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They hearkened therefore unto the word of Yahweh, and returned to depart according to the word of Yahweh. See, so that's what happened. Shemaiah, the man of Yahweh, he had that wisdom, and the Lord gave him that prophecy saying, hey, go tell Rehoboam, don't buck up against the northern kingdom. This is the will of Yahweh, that the nation split. It's the will of Yahweh. Let me read it again in verse 24. It says, Thus saith Yahweh, Ye shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. See? So the split, it's Yahweh that, he's the one who caused that split. And Shemaiah the prophet spoke to Rehoboam saying, hey, don't do it. Don't go war against your brethren, because this is not something to be fixed. And you don't want to kill your brethren. You don't want to fight your brethren. This is from Yahweh. This is the will of Yahweh for this split to happen. And you fast forward to history, and you had the Northern Kingdom eventually left the Middle East, right, the old world, to come to the new world, and which they call Arsareth in the Apocrypha. So it's all the will of Yahweh, because you had Northern Kingdom, which was involved in the split right here in the First Kings chapter 11 and 12. So it was prophecy, because they came, the so-called Hispanic, Latino, Native American tribes came over during the book of Hosea, during the Assyrian captivity. That's when Northern Kingdom migrated to the Americas. Tells you that in, I believe it's 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter, around the 41st verse. Well, let's get it. 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter. Yeah, this is it right here. 2nd Esdras 13:41. They took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. See, and this is all an account of Northern Kingdom. This is later on, when they decided to flee, because they were being persecuted, right? In the old world, they were being persecuted in Africa, in the Middle East. Remember, our people were scattered in every nation. But they took counsel during the Assyrian captivity that they were going to, let's read it, verse 42, that they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then showed them signs for them, and they held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of 1.5 years, and the same region is called Arsareth. Then dwelt they, and Arsareth, I believe that means new world, or I believe that's what that means. So this is the account of the Northern Kingdom coming to the new world. And then eventually in history, you fast forward more history, you go into the slave, during the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, where Southern Kingdom was brought on slave ships to the Americas. Basically, it was all the will of Yahweh. You had the Southern Kingdom basically come and meet their brethren. It wasn't on a glorious fashion, right? It was in slave ships. They didn't come here in yachts or, $1 million submarines or fancy boats. No, they came in slave ships. And basically the way Yahweh set it up is Yapah. He brought our brethren here. We came over here because I'm part of the Northern Kingdom. And now here we are standing on our feet together, where we basically both Northern and Southern Kingdom, it was all prophecy for us to be ordained and brought to the Americas. And, well, in the Northern Kingdom's sake, we were also brought to the Americas as slaves, but the majority of the immigration, if you will, took place during the Assyrian captivity when we came to Arsareth. But that was the split. I just wanted to go in on the history of the split and what caused the split. And, but remember, it was, I'm going to go back to 1 Kings 11 and 24. Sorry, 12 and 24. And read it again. Thus saith Yahweh, ye shall not go up nor fight against your brethren, the sons of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. And that's the main point. The split was from Yahweh, because you have to look at this whole picture, man. The split was from Yahweh. Eventually, we read the account of Northern Kingdom coming to Arsareth, which would have been the Americas. That was the place where mankind never had dwelt. And then, since I brought it up, let's go to Deuteronomy 28:68 and see how the Southern Kingdom got here. It says in verse Deuteronomy 28:68, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Remember, Egypt just means bondage. This is where our people came in bondage, and we're still in bondage. That's why you got to go to work every day. That's why you got to pay taxes. That's why you got to pay bills. You're subject to payments, right? Because you're in bondage. You're in Egypt. That word Egypt simply means bondage. But this time we came into bondage on ships, and I'm talking about our brethren, the Southern Kingdom. And Yahweh shall, which was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, meaning no man shall redeem you. That word buy means redeem, all right? So, Northern and Southern Kingdom, they both got to the Americas on different paths, but nonetheless, it was all the will of Yahweh. And really to show his power, right? To show his word is faithful and true, because it was prophesied that there was going to be a split, and then you had our people, the two kingdoms come to the Americas, different pathways, different times, different eras. But now we fast forward to these last days, and here we are, the Northern and Southern Kingdom coming back together, because that's why we speak about the remnant, which the remnant is dealing with the house of David. Now the two tribes are being, back together. We're being put back together. And we're standing on our feet teaching these scriptures. But you look at all the history that had to happen before these prophecies came to pass, and it's truly an amazing story, you see. So it's an amazing story, you see. But like I said, I just wanted to go in on the Northern and Southern Kingdom split, and then a spirit jumped on me to go into us both kingdoms coming to the Americas, and now here it is prophesying together, becoming that house of David. So let me get that real quick, because there's a scripture that speaks on that also. Let me see if I can find the verse. Okay, yeah, I'll use that. Go to Acts 15 and verse 16, and it says, okay, I'm going to start at verse Acts 15 and 15. It says, and to this agree the words of the prophets, as it is written. See, so everything happens according to how it's written. It was written that Northern Kingdom would come over here during the Assyrian captivity, during the time of Hosea the king. And also, it was written that Southern Kingdom would come on slave ships as bondmen and bondwomen, right, in Deuteronomy. So let me read this. Verse 16, after this I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up. So this is literally talking about the two tribes coming back together, because you have to remember, the tabernacle of David deals with all the tribes. because the split happened after King Solomon died, David's son. So it was David, then Solomon. That's still the house of David, right? Meaning all the tribes were together. So let me read it again. And at verse 16, Acts 15:16. After this I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, which is fallen down, and I will build again the ruins thereof, and I will set it up. See? So it's been written for all of this prophecy to happen, and the prophecies have came to pass. All right? I just told you about the Northern Kingdom, how they got to the Americas. I told you about the split. Told you about how Southern Kingdom was brought over here on slave ships. Now we're here in the Americas, and guess where? The Tabernacle of David, the majority of the tabernacle, because you got prophets, and you got Israelites all over the planet, all over the globe. But the majority of this tabernacle is going to be built up in Babylon the Great, aka America. All right. And I'm going to read verse 17. It says, that the residue of men might seek after the Yahweh, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith Yahweh, who doeth all these things. See, so the residue, let me get that definition. Residue, oops. I hit the wrong one. Let me see, residue definition. A small amount of something that remains after the main part has gone or been taken or used. See? So a small amount, which are the 1/3, the prophets, the remnant. And that's who's seeking after Yahweh. The whole nation of Israel is not seeking after Yahweh. But there is a tabernacle of David, which, consists of all 12 tribes, like I said. And it's a residue, the men who are remaining, who are still seeking after Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and not all this other bullshit that we've been given here in our captivities. And all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith Yahweh, who doeth all these things. Known to the Most High are all his works from the beginning of the world. See, so all of this was written in the scripture. All these prophecies have been written down during the beginning of the world, but yet look at the prophecies still coming to pass. They're still happening, right? Just as the way Yahweh wrote it down, or commanded his holy men to write it down. You see? So I'm going to go ahead and close out on that. Like I say, the split of Northern and Southern Kingdom was the topic, and then it evolved into us coming back to the Americas, Northern and Southern Kingdom, standing together on our feet. And well, you know what? Let me bring that out real quick in Revelation. Let me remember where it's at. I'm gonna grab my Bible. I want to grab read the right verse here. Okay, I thought it was in 11. Because this goes into us, the Northern and Southern Kingdom, which is happening right now. We're literally fulfilling and living in prophecy. So this is Revelation 11:3. And the two witnesses that we're about to read about are the Northern and Southern Kingdom. And what are we doing? We're witnessing, right? We're testifying to the truth. We're testifying to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We read it in what was it? In the book of Acts, right? 15. Let me get it again real quick. It says, verse 17, that the residue of men might seek after Yahweh, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith Yahweh, who doeth all these things. Known to the Most High are all his works from the beginning of the world. All right. So the residue, meaning, and another word for the residue is these two witnesses that I'm about to read about, which are the northern and southern kingdom prophets. Okay. Verse 3. 11 and 3, Revelation. And I will give power to my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 years. I'm sorry, 60 days, clothed in sackcloth. And that's what you see right now. These are the two olive trees, the two candlesticks standing before the Most High of the earth. All right, talking about the prophets, the northern and southern kingdom coming together in America. All right, you could also read about this in Ezekiel 37. It talks about the two sticks joining together, becoming one stick in thine hand, which is that what I read earlier, King David's, the house of David being built up again. So again, the house of David consists of all 12 tribes. Not just the northern kingdom, not just the southern kingdom. When King David was the king of Israel, all the tribes were together, and that's what's happening again. We're coming together, but not all the tribe. I should be more specific. Only the remnant, only the residue, only the elect, only the ones who are able to receive this truth. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and close out on that. But before, let me get one. Let's see. Okay, so let me read this again. And I will give power, this is verse 3, and I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. All right. So let's get that word witness. It means a person who sees an event, typically a crime or accident, take place. All right. So that's what we are. We're witnesses. We're witnessing. We're testifying. Right. That's what happens in the courthouse. Right. A witness will testify. So that's what we do. We're testifying. Even me right now telling you that Northern and Southern Kingdom came to the Americas, different pathways they had, but that was the will of Yahweh to set it up to now we're two witnesses. Because why? We're testifying. And the other witness definition says evidence and proof. All right. And let me get some synonyms, meaning words that mean similar. All right. Observer, onlooker, eyewitness, spectator, bystander, watcher, viewer, passerby. See? So we're all of those. Are we not the watchmen? Or we're the witnesses? All right. And we have power in Babylon right now. This is a powerful thing for us to be able to come out here and, basically condemn the heathen and tell our people, remind them who they are. So I'm going to close out on that. With that, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor, all the love unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, in the Rikah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth. Also, want to acknowledge the Akim, who are pushing this truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the elect.